Good morning. It's Sean from It's What Dads Do. Hope things are well. Got one today. I like this app or this website called Fatherly. They send you emails and updates and articles. It's pretty good stuff. The one I read today, 7 things all boys need to hear from their father. Some of these articles lately about toxic masculinity and all this stuff, a little over the top. I think there's still a place in the world to be a man and teach your son how to be a man. But this one was pretty good because it didn't necessarily focus on the femininity, I guess, of your son, but it really brought some good ideas. I'll just go through them quickly. One of them, I failed 1,000,000 times, is something you're supposed to tell your son. And it's funny, I tell my son this now. He's going through a challenge he tried out for soccer at high school. He didn't make it, and now he's struggling with his sophomore year. Do I try again? And I think that is something we got to teach especially our sons. You got to keep fighting. You're not giving up. So I told him, too bad. You're not giving up. You're trying out. The next one, you have to make yourself happy before you can make others happy. It's interesting. As a dad of 3, it's kind of a little late, right, for me to change a lot of things. And I think a lot of us feel that way. But this is a good one to teach your kids early. If they can be happy with themselves and what they can achieve and where they're headed, then they can open up and be, more comfortable, more secure in where and what they're doing and who they're with. Was that really your best effort? So I coach 3 soccer teams. My daughter plays soccer. It was pretty good. And I asked my daughters this, my son this, is that really the best you can do? I think that's a good one. And it talks about how coaches really, if in a loving way and a caring way, bring this up and say, hey, get back out there and do this the right way. I think that's just a good habit that you can form for your kids. Treat people as you want to be treated was interesting. So I was raised Catholic, and we really don't follow it that much, and we get frowned upon for that. But I think this is a core teaching, not necessarily of Christianity or any religion. This is just good human nature. Treat people as you want to be treated. I think that's a pretty good one. I'm going to skip hurt people. It's more of if somebody hurts you, they're hurting from something else. I understand that. That's pretty good. Don't always blame yourself. Let's skip that one. I like the last one, though. It says, I love you and understand you. So I think this is a big deal. Again, the toxic masculinity. Yeah, I believe you have to make it masculine to say I love you. And it's okay. Every day I drop my son off at the shuttle bus to get him to school. I drop him off at 6:45. And I tell him I love him. And it's easier for a man to say to a man is not easy. I tell my daughters all the time I love them. They tell me that. But my son, a little bit different, right? He's 15 years old. It's hard to say. Just say it. Just go ahead and tell your son, hey, I love you. It doesn't have to be cheesy. It doesn't have to be goofy. It can just be, quick of the moment. And I think he's becoming more comfortable with it as well. But I think it's important. I think the other thing with Mother's Day coming up, and I'm going to do a Mother's Day one as well, I think your boys especially have to see you telling that to your mother. And it's interesting. My wife and I don't often say it to each other, so I think for Mother's Day and going on, I'm going to really verbalize to my wife that I do love her. I think I owe that to her. I think it shows your kids that it's okay to communicate and put yourself out there on a limb. Granted, we've been married for 16 years, so I'm not really putting myself on a limb, but it's okay to communicate that affection, that commitment. So I think that's important as Mother's Day comes up, to show, especially your son, but also your daughters, that this is the way you're supposed to treat people. You're supposed to tell them you love them when you do, and I think that's good. So anyway, hope things are going well. Have a good one. This is Sean from It's What Dads Do.